All right, let's go ahead and finish off this nav bar section. And we're going to do some hover stuff, and we're going to get this out of here because we don't need it. So, well, just to show you, we can inspect this element. We see that it's this whole div with a class of blog masthead. So, cleaning this code up. And we can get blog masthead out of here. Save that. Let's see over here if we have any blog -nav. And to find, you do Command F on a Mac, Control F on a PC, and then it'll open up this down here. So blog nav item, then you push enter. All right, so it's nowhere. It would move to it if it was on there. So for instance, if I just looked for blog, see it move all over the page. See how it's moving? And it has all of them highlighted. So we're going to delete all these because we don't have any blog nav anywhere. That was all from the masthead section. And let's just make sure. All right, everything looks good here. And I want to make these a little bit bolder. Make them pop out a little bit more. So we know that originally, well, we have this right here, which we wrote. So we can grab this, all this right here, but we want it to not be the first child. We want it to be all list items. So let's go ahead and give it a font weight of 700, and that will give, every A tag that is an immediate child of a list item, that is an immediate child of an HTML element, in our case, an unordered list, with a class of navbar nav. It'll give them a font weight of 700. So all four of these right here. You may be tired of me going over that, but I just want to make sure for anybody that's having trouble understanding that. So nice. We got it looking good. Much pops out more at us. And now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to make these change as we hover over them. So give a little fun spice to the site. So what we're going to do is we're just going to go ahead and grab this. And remember how to do hover, pseudo element. So anytime we hover over one of these A tags, these anchor links right here, we want it to have a certain styling. So remember pseudo elements, colon, whatever the pseudo element is after the selector, and we want it to have a border at the bottom of 3 pixels, and we want it to be solid. You could be dashed. So let me just show you dashed here. See the dashed? I don't like the dashed as much. That's me. Oh, that does look kind of cool. But we're going to go with solid. There's other ones. Dotted is one. Yeah. And you can, go to CA or W3 schools to check that out. But you know what we want. We got that. And we didn't declare. Usually you declare a color right here. But since we already declared colors down here, it'll just inherit from that down there. So that's why you see red, green, blue, orange. All right. So we have that. Now one problem is that we see that changing? All right. So let's go ahead and inspect this element. And what I mean by changing is see how it just pops down just a little bit, just enough to be annoying. What we're going to go ahead and do, and plus it throws off the padding from the top to the bottom, makes it uneven, is what it's doing is, let's go ahead and, remember you can come up here, let's say hover, all right? So what it's doing is, remember, padding, oh, scrolled at the wrong part, scroll down here. Padding is within the border, and the border is part of it, so what it's doing is it's pushing it down. Now that we have a border of 3 pixels down here, it's making it larger down here at the bottom. So we have 15 pixels padding and 3 pixel border at the bottom only. So there's 18 down here versus 15 at the top. So we want it to be even. And we can find that padding bottom somewhere in here. Here we go. Padding top 15 pixels, padding bottom 15 pixels. Well, what we want to do is whenever it's hovered, we want it to have a padding bottom of, well, our border bottom is 3 pixels. So we want it to be padding bottom, which is currently 15 pixels, minus 3 pixels. So 12 pixels. All right. And you can see the math better here. So we have 15 padding at the top, and then we have 12 plus the 3 pixels of the border, so that equals 15. That way it's even. So let's go over here, and we want padding bottom, and reload the page. Nice. Now you don't see any change. Okay. And what it's doing is when it puts in that 3 pixels, it's automatically changing the padding of that A tag alone to a padding bottom of 12 pixels. Okay, so just a little extra credit here. You can look up here and you can see that they're doing the media different. So that's just a hint later, because this is a media query. Remember responsive design and media queries? That we're probably going to have to look at this and change this when we make the site completely responsive. So that's just an extra little bonus hint there. And now what else do we want to do? Okay, so we have it hovered. And now what I want to do is make sure the actives look good. So let's say, like, okay, currently we're on, the site. We'll say we're on the blog page. Okay, so we have like a home page here. Then we have a blog page. And we'll save these for later. We'll change these. But we're on the blog page, and we want it, so we want that one to be active, a class of active. And that just means, hey, I'm on this page, okay? Or you're on this page. So I want this also to be down here whenever we're active. So let's go ahead and copy this, because I want it to have the same styling as we did with the hover. But we're going to take away hover, and what we're going to do is we need to say where that class of active is. So right now, all the elements are going to have that same styling, so that we don't want that, because they didn't look like this. All right, that doesn't look good. So what we want to do is we want to find how we did active. So we gave the list item a class of active. So let's say list item with a class of active. And now we're good. All right. We do have a problem here that whenever we're hovering it, it's changing the color back to the dark gray. So we don't want that. And let's do this here again, and let's say, well, it is active, so let's just say hover, and you can see this right here. So navbar default, navbar nav, an HTML element with a class active as the immediate child, and then an A as the immediate child. So we have that pretty much. So what we're going to do here is we're going to add to this. Well, right now, just to show you for quick, remember we can combine CSS selectors. So, and by what I meant by show you quick is we, changed the second child to active. So we might as well work on this one. So what we have going on here is we want the nth child whenever it's active as well, not just not when it's not active, but when it's active as well, we want it also to have this color. Okay, so we want it to overwrite what it's saying here. See active when we hover over it. So whenever we hover over it, we want it to have that same color. So now you'll see it saying the same. And just to be sure, there is also this focus thing, which is like, you know, if you're like tabbing through a site, you ever use like tab, like, you know, tab, tab, tab. Well, for some reason it's not doing it on this one. Yeah, so that means that's in focus, okay? So if anybody's using tab, we want to make sure that they're covered on the styling as well. So let's paste that in. Instead of hover, we're going to use the pseudo element focus. All right, cool. Now, we've only done it for that second element. So unfortunately, we have to do it for each of the 4 elements. So let's go ahead and copy. We have to change that to first child. Oh, sorry, keep that. We have to change this to first child. And to check, you could go through and change each of these to active. Let's go ahead and change this to third. Change that to third. Nothing's going to change there. We can do this just to make sure everything's good. And, you know, all right, cool. So they stay the same whenever we hover over them. Let's go back. And right now we're on the blog page. Very nice. And nice. We have the whole nav done now. And we can move on to styling the rest of the page. Great job, guys.